What is up, guys, and welcome to the Meeple Minded podcast, the podcast where we talk all things tabletop gaming. My name is Jason.
And I'm James.
How are you doing this week, James?
Yeah, not too bad, Jason. Not too bad.
Good, good. Have you had a fun week of work?
Oh, yes, riveting.
Just think, James, it's all about those pennies, because what did we discuss last night?
We discussed things.
We discussed a lot of things, to be fair. But one of the things that was on the topic of conversation, James, is we are in and about the month away from UK Games Expo at this point.
Indeed we are.
Almost. We're almost into May, which means we're about a month away from Expo. How is that how's the excitement building for you, James? Is it unbearable?
It hasn't quite hit yet. Ask me again in about 2 weeks.
Yeah? You reckon in 2 weeks' time you'll be pumped?
It is still a month away. Is still I'm going to get through a month worth of work before it comes. So the work is really blocking the excitement as it usually does. But 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and then it'll be a week, and then we'll be going.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's especially good for you because I know you've booked an extended period of time off, haven't you?
I have.
Remember, yeah. I've booked off a couple of extra days, one day either side of it, which is good. But I'm really starting to get excited now. The hotels are all paid for. The train tickets is paid for.
Everything's paid for.
It is, yeah.
Well,
there's
breakfast is not paid for.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't decided what we're going to do for breakfast, Joe. I mean, the standard thing that we do pretty much every year is we'll get breakfast in the hotel because it's about £10 per person per day for an unlimited breakfast. I mean, bacon, eggs, sausages every single day. Proper fry up.
Yep.
I can deal with that.
We've overlooked the most important thing. It's like, train tickets? Check. Somewhere to stay? Check. Event tickets? Check.
Games.
Breakfast?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, we forgot the most important thing. I suppose it's not too bad because there is obviously lots of food stalls on site, including the really nice
hog roast.
Yeah. There's the hog roast guy that he'll be there. Right in the middle of the games hall as well, which I think is just a cruel joke.
It's just mean, that, isn't it?
Because it just, that smell, it fills the hall. It's so good. So good. Then you've got the food vans, which are over at the Hilton as well, which, I mean, I'm more excited, I think, at the moment, James, about the food vans. I think that's just starting to come out here just a little bit.
Well, as well as our love for games, Jason, you and I are both foodies.
Yes, indeed.
So,
yeah, can't even deny that. And I'm a proud fat man card carrying fat man. So, yes, and I'm happy to stay that way. So, yes, very much looking forward to consuming my own body weight in food while we're there, as well as probably 10 times my own body weight in games.
Yes.
So, yeah, really looking forward to it. But anyway, this past week, James, how's it been? Have we been playing any games? Yes, we have.
Yes, we have.
You had to think about it.
I did have to think about it. Then I was like, I don't know. What day of the week is it? I don't know what's happening. Where am I?
Now, I could safely say that I've definitely played some games, James, because I've been to a fair few events this week. It's been a very good week for games for me. But yeah, I've sort of been thinking about all the different games I played, and I've sort of remembered 5 of the games that I played to talk about, as well as the one that we're going to be talking about in just a little while. But one of the games I played, someone ran a game of Rococo for me, which was the 2020 Deluxe Edition by Eagle Griffin Games. Now, I've never played this before. I only got one game of it in. We played a 5-player game. I think we all unanimously decided that was a mistake. I think 4-player maximum for that game, but it was a really interesting game. Do you know anything about Rococo?
I don't.
You don't? Okay. So Rococo, basically, the theme is you are basically a dressmaker, or, like a ball gown type deal, fashion icon, that kind of thing. So totally me.
Oh, yeah.
And, you're sort of using your hand and hand management skills to sort of gain the resources required to make the dresses, which you then display in the great halls. and gain points. Apparently, that's how the fashion industry works. You play cards, you get some needle and thread, and then you put them on display, and then suddenly points.
Yep.
Very, very interesting game. I did like it.
Yep.
I would definitely play it again, but not a game I would own, I don't think. I think it's one of those that if there was a space at the table, I'd probably play it. There wasn't much else going on, but yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't own it.
It's funny you say that, Jason, because my impression of the fashion industry, every time I see one of these so-called fashion designers, is don't take fashion advice from this person because what they're wearing is hideous.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, we best not go into that. Might have the wrong sorts chasing after us, James. I'm pretty sure they're all mafia.
It's not just that. It's the actual clothes that they put on display, if you like, on the runway look fine. It's just their personal outfits. It's like I do look at some of them and go, I'm supposed to take fashion advice off of you.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah. I've always thought that. Really, I've never understood. I guess it's kind of like it always reminds me of like watching things like the Hunger Games.
I would literally
with, like, the Capitol, and you get those really eccentric things, and it's just supposed to display the wealth and stuff like that. And I'm just sort of. I guess the way they dress is like, oh no, it's to express their creativity, and no,
yep,
just no,
yeah, just it might express your creativity, but it looks hideous.
Yeah, really, really weird.
It's like the outfit or dress or whatever that the model is parading up and down the runway looks very nice. Your personal outfit,
yeah,
were you high on drugs?
Well, yeah.
Sort of basically, it's like, what is going on here? I don't know whether it's whether you're supposed to wear it or display it in the Tate Modern.
I mean, I sort of always get the feeling of, I really should buy this expensive dress because you clearly weren't able to afford to turn your lights on this morning and you've got dressed in the dark. That's the kind of vibe I get from it. But yeah, anyway, Rococo, pretty good game. Would definitely play it again. But another game was one that we both played, James. We both played Steam Up.
We did.
How did you find that?
That was a very interesting game.
Yeah. Is it one that you want to play again?
Yes.
Good.
It had an unfortunate side effect, though, because it made me want Chinese food.
Indeed it did, yeah. I mean, this is where I show my ignorance here. So I'm pretty sure dim sum is Japanese, but...
Same thing.
But oh, we're going to offend some people there, James. But... it was actually Chinese food that it made me crave because I don't actually eat dim sum, and there's very few Japanese foods that I do eat. I don't like sushi, raw fish. I mean, just fish in general. I don't eat fish, but yeah, I don't really eat Japanese food. So yeah, it made me want Chinese, but it was dumplings that I wanted. It was Chinese dumplings. So it's similar.
It's the fact that the main playing pieces look like those little wicker steamers, and it just made me think of like shredded ducks and pancakes.
Exactly. So
that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I really like that game. Nice and simple and very fun. I'm looking forward to playing that again. Now, James, another game that we both played.
Yeah.
This was one that we played on Monday. I thought it was a pretty neat and nifty sort of grab style, identify and grab style game, but you didn't enjoy it, James, did you? Because we played, and I'm going to butcher the name because it's a German name. I believe it's Geistblitz, something along those lines. Apologies. But yeah, what did you think of that, James?
It's a dexterity game. Not only is it a dexterity game, it's a hand-eye coordination game.
Yeah.
Really did not enjoy that one.
See, I did. I was terrible at it, but yeah, I did enjoy it. It was good fun. Yeah, very, very simple premise, isn't it? Like you've got, there's 6 things out on...
Four actual objects. It's,
I think it was a bit more than 4, but it was something like that. There was a green bottle, a white ghost,
a grey mouse,
a blue book,
and a red chair.
A red chair. 5 things. And a deck of cards.
Yep.
And the idea was you flip over a deck of cards, and then you have to identify what is either fully represented on the card or not represented at all.
Yep.
And it wasn't just a case of it had to be a white ghost. No. If the colour white is represented,
Yeah.
You can't claim the white ghost. Whereas if it was like the grey mouse that was represented, you could grab the grey mouse or the colour/object that wasn't represented. So there was a...
No, it was one or the other. It's like if the grey mouse was on the card, everything else would have been represented in some way, so you couldn't grab it.
Yeah, something like... I mean,
it was
there
one,
was a lot of
it was one or the other.
Yeah.
It was either going to be fully represented or there's going to be a component of those colours and objects that isn't represented.
Yeah, like you would have the chair, but it might be blue.
Yeah.
But either way, that meant you couldn't claim the blue book or the red chair because both of those things had a representation of some sort. Very, very interesting. As I said, that kind of instant identification, I am terrible at that.
Yeah. So it's a combination of you have to find out what it is you're looking for first and then react and grab the piece first. And if you grab the wrong piece, you lose a card.
Lose one of your victory cards, yeah. I mean, I probably would have ended up in minus figures if that was possible in that game. But damn, I'm just going to say it. Rob was on form. He was almost instant with all of them. Very, very difficult man to go up against in that game. But I did actually enjoy it. I thought it was quite a fun little game, James.
Hated it. Absolutely detested it.
This is where you won't learn, James. When you say, I really detest a game, you know I'm going to make you play it more.
You've not yet got me to sit down and play Cupcake Academy again.
True. That's the ammunition in the back pocket, James, that is. That's when you really annoy me doing something. I don't know what it is, because obviously you haven't done it yet. But
when it happens...
But Expo is coming, James, and I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time with you. Expect the episode after Expo to be a game highlight of Cupcake Academy.
I might like blag a sickie on that one.
It's all right, James. We'll save it for when you get back. I'm that kind of nice guy. But yeah, Geist's Blitz. I liked it. You didn't. I also got to play a new version of one of your favourite little games, which is Skyjo. But I played Skyjo Action. Now, it's been no secret to anyone, really, that I tired of Skyjo pretty quickly because we were playing it a lot. And I haven't played it for a very long time. However, I was introduced to Skyjo Action the other day and totally sold on the premise of it's Skyjo with a lot of more take that. And I really enjoyed it. It has rather reinvigorated my love of the simplicity of Skyjo, but adding in that take that element, the extra deck where you can, just screw over other people or kill people's cards off and make them draw new ones and all that kind of jazz was really, really fun. What do you think on the idea, James? Because you haven't played it yet, but, what do you think about the idea of adding Take That into it?
I've played Skyjo enough to know that adding Take That into it makes it... I already love the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really going to love the game with the Take That deck and our particular gaming group.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, indeedy.
That's one I think... if you get a hold of it, because it used to be, me, you, Kiri, and Dave used to play that one quite a lot. Dave, do you fancy a game of Skyjo? It's a nice, easy game.
Yeah, exactly. I can see us playing that a fair bit at Expo because Paul is the one that owns the game, and I'm sure he will take it along. So look forward to playing that soon, James.
Indeed.
Hopefully not too long. The final one I want to highlight that I did play, and I won't talk about it too much because it is a pretty basic game, but I got to play the Monty Python Flux. Interesting. It is basically Flux with a theme slapped on it.
Okay.
And I don't like Monty Python, so it was all right. Had some classic British comedy to it, I guess. Some of the victory things were quite well themed to Monty Python. There was a little stupid thing in there about if you either whistled or sung one of the particular songs from Monty Python, you got to have an extra go or something, which I'm immediately at a disadvantage there because I can't stand it. I don't know the song. It was Dave that I was playing against. He's the one that owned the game. It was all right. It was all right. I'd play it again if there was nothing else on. But, Monty Python Flux. We'd normally be talking about a game we played this time last year, James.
Did we play a game this time?
We did not.
We did not?
We did not.
How terrible.
Well, I mean, obviously we played a game this time last year, but we didn't talk about a game this time last year. So we get to skip that bit. And that, in turn, means we get to talk about another game that we've been playing recently, James, which, for those of you that have actually read what this podcast is titled, you will know that we're going to be talking about The Batman Who Laughs Rising. Are you excited for this one, James?
I am.
Because I really don't, genuinely, like normally when we go into this, I have an air of idea of what you're really thinking about. I genuinely don't have a clue for this one. So this is going to be new to me. Are you ready, James?
Yes.
Should we do it?
Let's go.
Let's go. Okie dokie, guys. So, The Batman Who Laughs Rising is, as I'm sure you could probably figure out, is another game in the series that was released by the OP, formerly known as USAopoly. With this version, it saw its released in 2020 and having a much darker theme to replicate the feel that one gets from reading a classic DC comic made this one really stand out to me. The Batman Who Laughs Rising, much like its older brothers, is a dice-rolling, open drafting damage allocation style game, able to host 1 to 4 players, 8, 14 and up, with an estimated playtime of around 60 minutes. And at the time of recording, you could pick this game up brand new from around £25, or you can get it pre-loved for £15. In The Batman Who Laughs Rising, players use their starting characters, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, or Batman, to roll dice and recruit allies such as Harley Quinn, The Flash, and Cyborg, whose skills can complete objectives or help recover what is lost to the darkness. However, if you spend too much time recruiting, and the villainous versions of the Batman such as Merciless, Dawnbreaker, and the Murder Machine will flood your board and begin causing utter devastation and much, much more before you even get the chance to face off with the psychotic, Jokerized antagonist himself. That is a real quick rundown of what this game is about. James, what comes in the box when you buy The Batman Who Laughs Rising?
Okay, Jason. In The Batman Who Laughs Rising, you get 1 Batman Who Laughs figure, 1 deployment zone tile, 4 double-sided Dark Knights track tiles, 1 Dark Knights dice, 1 Batman Who Laughs dice, 15 hero dice, 32 Dark Knight track counters, 60 damage counters, 4 team deployment tokens, 30 bonus tokens, 4 team ability cards, 38 character cards, including heroes and villains, 7 Dark Knight cards, including 1 Batman Who Laughs card, and 1 rulebook.
Okie dokie. I'm glad that they clarified that you got a rulebook, considering you were reading that off of the rulebook.
Yes.
I'm guessing right when you finished reading that, you immediately went, oh, I'm glad they clarified that, because I didn't realise what I was reading. But yeah, right, let's talk about the rulebook, James, because we've been successfully forgetting to talk about the rulebook in the games that we've been talking about recently. Pretty standard fare here from the op. Everything is horrifically well illustrated.
Yep.
It's primarily pictures. There's very, very little text in there, so it teaches the game pretty well. Interesting idea with regards to the components, because I was noticing this as you were reading it. There is a list of components.
Yep.
And then on the following page, there's the exact same list, but with all the illustrations of the individual things. So they obviously felt the need to put in a contents list twice.
Yes.
Why? I don't really understand that, but...
Do you reckon they paid for so many pages and went, oh, we've
got a space.
We need to block it out.
We've got a space. We need to fill it. But yeah, it's pretty easy to read fare when it comes to the rulebook here. The setup is over a nice double-page spread. As I said, the majority of it is well illustrated, so you can clearly see what goes where. And the gameplay section is exactly the same. I would say, James, in all the games we've played of this, it's clearly easy enough to learn from the rulebook, because I don't think we've ever made any mistakes per se. No. And if we have, they've been easily found and rectified within a couple of seconds of looking in the rulebook. To your knowledge, have we ever made a mistake in this game?
No, but then again, most of the stuff that you would have questions of, which is what symbols mean, is also handily
on the back.
On the back as a quick reference.
I like it when they put a quick reference on the back. It's always good. So yeah, let's talk about components, James, because there's obviously a fair bit that comes in this game.
Yeah.
Any highlights or anything?
The miniature,
the sculpture, the statue that stands in the middle, the totally unnecessary miniature statue thing that could easily be a little token.
Yes. But it's a symbol of the Rising thing. They've all got the central figure, though. I know there are other games in the Rising series. I have played the Harry Potter one. I've never played the Star Wars one.
Nope.
And I haven't played the SpongeBob one.
Nope.
But I have played the Marvel one. So that's the only one I can do a fair comparison to because it's the one I got the most experience with.
Yeah.
The central miniature in this one is miles better.
Oh, yeah.
Than Thanos.
Yeah, 100%. Like, Thanos was obviously the original Rising game. Obviously, that was followed by the Harry Potter game. We got the Star Wars one in the UK.
Yeah.
From what I understand, that never made it to America, which is strange, considering that's where the company's based. But, whatever. Licensing, I'm guessing. Obviously, there is the Plankton Rising one, which we haven't actually played yet. It's on my shelf. We will play it at some point. There is also the Avatar version, the anime Avatar thing. I forget what the actual name of it is.
I thought you meant the film,
not the blue thing.
Not the Smurfs film.
No, not the Smurfs.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That's the one. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, haven't played that. That's one of the few in the series I wasn't bothered about getting, mainly because I don't know the source material, and this. It's weird to say this right before doing a game highlight for one of the Rising games, but I've kind of outgrown the Rising series. This
one for you was theme.
Oh, this was all theme. Yeah, this was definitely all theme. And I'm sure we'll get on to that soon, but sticking with the components, the statue in this is head, shoulders, and torso above all of the others.
Yeah, it's painted for a start.
Yeah, I mean, all the others were painted to a degree, but this one literally looks like someone has sat down with, acrylic paints and actually painstakingly painted the miniature. Don't get me wrong, if I was painting it, or someone else who paints miniatures, they'd probably make a better job of it, but I'm more than happy with what has come out of that box.
Yeah, well, I remember when you got Thanos Rising, you hand-painted
I did.
Thanos, because you took one look at that miniature and went, that looks awful, it needs painting.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And you didn't do that with this one.
I did not, and I wouldn't. It's that good, and the sculpt of it as well.
Yeah.
With the Batman Who Laughs just chaining up the evil Robins.
Yeah.
And having them crawling around at his feet like a pack of like bloodthirsty wolves or hounds.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Oh, it's so good. And it just, the Thanos miniature, the Voldemort miniature, all of the other miniatures, they're all the same size. But this one just commands presence on the table, whereas the other ones, you can sort of take it or leave it that they're there. And I do say that it could easily be a token in the middle of the table, but do you know what? That statue makes this game so powerful. It pops out from the table. And it can only be said it's because it looks so damn good.
Yep.
So I'm definitely in there with you. That for me is the ultimate highlight for the
it's the standout component, because everything else is pretty bog standard to the other Rising series and board game components in general. Punch board, plastic cubes, cards.
Yeah, definitely. The only other thing I would definitely say is another highlight for me in this game is the dice.
Yep.
They are really nice dice, hands down the best dice that have come in these games. They've got that sort of, I don't know if it's the right word, but embossed feel.
Yeah.
Where you've got the sunken down bits for the paint to go into. They've got a nice weight to them. They're very crisp and clear.
Yeah.
And they roll pretty well as well, even though they don't have curved edges, would be my only complaint. They're not curved. They have got the flat, pointy edges, so they would roll better if they were curved, but they do what they need to do. I'm more than happy with the dice in this one. Anything else about components you want to talk about, James, be it good or bad?
No, it's pretty standard.
Cool. Let's move on to gameplay. Before we go full-blown into gameplay, we have talked about 2 previous Rising series games. We've talked about Thanos Rising and we talked about Harry Potter Death Eaters Rising. I can't remember if you were with us at the time. I believe that was myself and Ian.
It might, when you did the episode, it would definitely have been Ian. I've only played it once.
Yeah, okay. So that would have 100% been with Ian. But they are in our back catalogue. So if you want to know what we feel about the Rising series, go back and listen to those episodes, because I think for the purpose of this one, James, should we just focus on what's new?
Yes.
Cool. So, James, gameplay in the Batman Who Laughs Rising. Yes or no?
Absolutely yes.
Absolutely yes. Excellent.
Like I said, I've only got real experience with one of the other Rising games. The highlights of the gameplay for me on this one is, number one, you actually get to fight the central villain, eventually. But that's the end objective, which is, it's one of the things that really bugged me about Thanos Rising.
Yeah.
And I know it's based on Infinity Wars, is the objective is to stop him getting the stones and just defeat his henchmen. You never actually strike him.
Yeah, exactly. You sort of get to go against the Black Order.
Yeah.
But it was kind of always a bit anticlimactic, because like you managed to defeat all the Black Order and then it was game over.
Well, yeah, because you won at that point. You only had to defeat 10.
There was 10
villains. So you didn't even have to defeat the Black Order. You only just had to beat 10 henchmen and you've won.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, yeah, all right, I appreciate it was released in conjunction with Infinity War, and the Endgame hadn't come out at that point, and we all know how Infinity War ends. Yeah. So technically you're not supposed to win.
Yeah, exactly. And it's fair to say, I've said it before, and up until this point, won't say right now whether it's still that way, but up until this point, Thanos Rising was still my favourite.
Yes.
You know, I liked Death Eaters Rising, but it didn't change enough for me to really pull away from Thanos Rising.
Yeah.
But there's a few things actually in this with the new stuff that I actually really like. The first one is the Dark Knight track.
Yes, and the 7 variants? Six. Yeah, because he is the 7th.
He is the 7th.
The 6 variants, which, I mean, the Black Order were pretty nasty when they came out.
Yeah.
But they haven't got a touch on the Batman variants.
Oh, no.
It's like, when they come out, they mess you up.
Yeah. And this was one of the key differences, and it's another thing that I like. In Thanos Rising, the Black Order, all the villains, they were in the deck.
Yes, because Gauntlet was the main side piece.
Whereas in this game, you've got villains in the deck already, but the big, powerful villains, the Dark Knight alternatives, are on a track at the top. And you get to see as and when they're going to come out, because you've got a progression track of cubes, which come from rolling the Dark Knight die. And then it's just sort of like, I like that, because you've got an air of suspense.
Yes.
Because you can see, oh my God, we're only 1 cube away from getting the next big bad villain.
Yeah, who, when you trigger him, comes off the track and he is face down, so you don't know which one it is.
Yep.
It joins the top of the draw deck.
So you know that's the next card that's going to come out. And I love that.
Yeah.
Because it really, like I said, it just keeps the suspense up. It also gives you an air of, right, we're trying to maintain this track because we don't really want all of these big bads coming out too quickly.
Yeah.
Because we need to recruit heroes and we need to defeat the villains that are already on the table. But then you're like, we also want that track to go fast because you don't get to fight the Joker, the Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah.
Until the very end. He's the last one to come out.
He is the last one to come out. But I also like that timer because there is much more pressure. Like, if you played Thanos Rising really well, you could recruit 1 or 2 heroes and then just start smacking the villains to get to that 10 victory point, where it's like, with that slow countdown to the Batman Who Laughs coming out, it's like, I need a strong team by that point.
Yeah. And that actually leads me on to something that I both love and hate about this game. Because when you eventually get through that track and the Batman Who Laughs joins the game, you have just 6 cubes
to beat him.
I
like it.
So I like the pressure that it mounts, but I think I think it's just a little bit too quick, or potential to be too quick. And it's all on that die. If you roll the die and it adds 2, and you do that 3 times in a row, game over. You've got no choice.
Considering it's a 4-player game, I think there should have been 8 slots instead of 6. So you get a maximum of 1 round.
Yeah, 1 round to do.
A minimum
of 1 round. Yes.
Yeah, to beat him.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you said, if you've got a full 4-player game and he comes out and you are unlucky enough to get 3 rolls of the double on the trot, it's like, the last person's not going to get a go.
Yeah. And I just think it's just a little bit.
It is
a little bit too punched.
It is. It needs two extra cube slots for a potential of a round to beat him. But I like the fact that, again, it's the natural progression of the boss is out. It's basically the game telling you everyone go for him.
Yeah. And I mean, it's an easy thing to deal with, though, isn't it? Because they either add, as we've said, add on an extra couple of cube spaces, or for the main boss, remove the rule that you can only do 1 cube of damage to a villain in one turn. Because that really does hinder you, because I might have managed to mount a half-decent character, and I could potentially have done 2 damage, you could have done 1 damage, and then little Jimmy could have done another damage, which would have finished him off. Whereas, no, I'm limited to 1.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on a minute, I've rolled 2 cubes. Ugh. James, it's your go. Oh, you've rolled 2 cubes. Okay, you've done 1 damage. Little Jimmy, oh, you've rolled 2 cubes. Game over.
Yeah.
I just think that maybe overall that thing just sort of said you can do more than 1 damage.
Also, another thing that's new that I really like about this one, that the Dark Knight track is double-sided.
Mm-hmm.
So it has 2 difficulty modes.
Yeah, it does indeed. And I'm going to hold my hands up right here, right now, and say we've never played the harder side.
No.
Because we're not insane. We're not. I don't think we ever claimed to be the best gamers in the world, James. But we're not good enough to do the other side. Because one thing I have noticed in this game, and again, I like this, and it's all of the things that we've already talked about combined that add to this, and that is every game we've played, it's come down to the wire.
Yep.
But God forbid we ever played the harder version.
We got to do it at least once. But yeah, it's Again, something else I always took away from the Thanos Rising was it was very rare for me, once I've recruited a hero onto my team, to lose that hero. I'd have to have been having an especially bad game to actually have one of the guys die once I've got them.
Yeah. See, I find in this, I cycle through a team.
You be prepared to lose characters because it's as soon as those Batmans or evil variant Batmans come out, they are horrifically powerful. I mean, I've never read the comic that the Batman Who Laughs Rising is based on.
Yeah,
but they are they're DC's clone of effectively Kang and his variants, aren't they? They're Batman if he was evil in several different realities.
Yeah,
and it's just the idea of going up against some of them are. Like, you read the descriptions of them, it's like, I'm not even sure the Batman Who Laughs Rising is the worst one out of them.
No.
Even though he's the central character. There's one where it's an evil Batman who killed Green Lantern and took his ring, and it's like, Batman smarts with the Green Lantern ring.
Yeah.
Just throw the white flag in.
Yeah. Give up.
Yeah.
Just give up. It's pretty good. Like, again, I would say I'm there with you. I never actually got round to reading the Dark Multiverse comic series, but this game makes me want to. I'm not going to lie, I do actually want to read it, because it is very, very dark, and that's what I like about DC. I grew up with DC, James. I was never a Marvel fan.
No, I wasn't.
Until I was already an adult. So, I mean, could we blame the MCU for that? More than likely.
Probably, because I was aware of the major Marvel characters, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk.
Yeah.
But not anything below them, if you like. Whereas, I grew up with DC. I grew up with the DC animated cartoons when I was growing up. So it's like I knew all the lower tier characters as well as the top tier ones. And it's that was definitely my universe growing up was DC.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I always liked the darker aspect that you got from those comics. They weren't all bright and colourful. They were dark and dingy because, crime is a dark and dingy thing. Gotham is riddled with crime, so therefore the city needs to be dark. And it comes across in this game. Even your player character boards, with your hero character, it's dark. You can tell that there's some serious stuff going on.
Yep.
And that they're on the back foot on this one. And then, as you said, like the characters come out, and then the villain cards come out, and they're even darker. And it's just sort of like, I feel like we need to deal with this.
Yeah.
Because otherwise our world is going to end. Because this game is going to take over. It's going to become Jumanji. And, we're going to get some crazed lunatic coming out of the board and shooting at us or something like that. But, yeah, I feel in this game, and I didn't think I'd say this over the Marvel one, but I feel in this game, they have captured the theme so well, probably better than anything else they've done. So, yeah, I mean, gameplay. Oh, in fact, we'll talk about the theme, James. Did you feel it was a thematic indulgence for you?
I did.
Yeah? Did you feel like you were playing as Batman?
No, because the last game we played, I was Green Lantern.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. That's the question. Although, doesn't he say that film doesn't exist?
That film does not exist. As evidenced by the Deadpool movie, he went back in time and killed that Ryan Reynolds. So that Ryan Reynolds doesn't exist anymore.
I have to say that I detest that film. Like the Green Lantern film, I genuinely detest it. My partner likes it. So, yeah, sorry, Layla, but you are wrong. That film is awful. But yeah, James, thoughts on gameplay? Anything else that really stood out to you in this game?
I think we've covered the bases there as the new mechanics. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, I said at the start, it has an average playtime of around an hour. Do you agree with that, James?
No. He'll beat you in half that time.
So if he's going to beat you, chances are it'll be over pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're winning, James, if you're going to win, what do you think on the playtime?
The thing about the Rising games is it's about that track management, no matter what form it is. In Thanos, it's the gauntlet and making sure he doesn't get the stones. In this, it's the track. So if you're picking up the bonus tokens that keep knocking counters off, technically you could make this game last as long as you wanted to make it last because you just managed the track. I would say average, that's probably, even the first time we played it and we were getting to grips with it, I wouldn't have said it took us an hour.
It's a hard one. I would say that the hour playtime is agreeable, but I really, really think this one fails at delivering on that time when you add more players. I think me and you, we can knock it out pretty quickly. We played it the other night at the club, 2-player. It took us an hour and a half, but that was with us constantly having to get up to do stuff at the club.
Yeah.
So knock off, say, 45 minutes, 45-minute game. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Yet when you start adding in more people, I have seen this game last up to about 2 hours. And for me, that was too long.
Yeah.
It was too long for this game. And it dragged on. So would I like to continue playing this at 4 players? The honest answer for me is no, I wouldn't. I would probably play this game at 3, but I think this game is best at 2. What are your thoughts on it, James? Because we don't always see eye to eye when it comes to this.
I'd say it's insanely difficult at 2 players because you really need, this is one of the things where the game does benefit a higher player count because you've got more people rolling dice. As it is a fully cooperative game. It's like,
see, it's the fully cooperative game side of it that makes me prefer it at 2 players, because I find it far easier to actually get a really good strategy going with just 2 people.
Yeah.
The hard side of it is, obviously, if you're playing with 2 people, you've only got 2 characters.
Yeah, that's
with the 4 player, you've got 4 different characters rolling different types of dice.
Yeah, I would definitely say out of all of them, because this one is insanely difficult compared to the others, that if you're new to it and you're playing a 2-player game, you should probably have 2 characters each.
Yeah.
To get the full team on the board, because you'll struggle.
Yeah, no,
like you said, we
understand
every time we've played it 2-player, as you said in the opening, it's come down to the wire, and we know this game inside out.
Yeah, that's very true. I can't even deny that. So yeah, game time for this one. I think it really depends on the player count and just how you're playing the game. Really, you could probably blitz through this if you really wanted
and
to.
how well you've shuffled the deck.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's the other thing is it. If you draw bad,
it'll be over in 5 minutes.
It's over quickly.
If you
draw
roll
good,
bad, it will be over over quickly. If you're really unlucky and you add, like we were saying at the end, right at the start, you're adding, three players in and you've all rolled the double. It's like, well, at least one of them's come out before the end of the first round.
Yeah, exactly. So, James, on this one, value for money. What do you think?
I think it's worth it. At £15, it's a steal.
Yep. It's a second-hand version.
Yeah, I would say it's 25.
It's 25 brand new. Is what you get it for at the retailers at the moment. Now, I believe when this first come out, and what the RRP is around the £40 mark, which is about normal for the Rising series.
Yeah,
but as I said, right now, there's multiple places that have got this brand new for 25.
Yeah, I would say at 25, it's worth it brand new.
Yeah. Even just for that statue, man.
Yeah.
Just for that statue. It's amazing. Really, really good. So, value for money, it's definitely there. Collection status. This is an interesting one for me, James, because it's the only one in the Rising series, which I really like to a degree. It's the only one in the Rising series that isn't on the for sale pile.
Yes.
So right now, this game is staying. It is a collection keeper at the moment, but the other Rising games will not be staying. So spoiler for when we eventually get round to Plankton Rising. I haven't even played that yet. So that might change, I guess, once I've played it. So recommendations, James? Do you have any recommendations for this game?
As I said, if you're new to it and you're playing it at a low player count, play with 2 characters each as you're getting the feel for it. Otherwise, more than likely, it's going to beat you. Okie dokie.
Cool. I think the game's worth a play.
Yep.
I think it's worth buying at that money. So, it's you know what? I'd pay that just for that miniature. To be honest, just to display it. It's absolutely awesome. So, yeah, recommendations from me. Get it. And get it to the table. It's a good one. Okay, guys, that is the Batman Who Laughs Rising. Have you guys played the Batman Who Laughs Rising? I'm going to have to stop saying it because that name is so long. Have you guys played this game? What were your thoughts? Let us know on any of our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Discord as well. Nearly always forget that one. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear it. But James, anything else you want to add today?
I think we've covered all the bases there, Jace.
I'm pretty sure we have. I mean, we always think about something after we turn off the recording, and then it's a case of, well, we're done now, so probably bring it up on the next episode. But yeah, we're really interested into hearing what you guys think about this one. But other than that, James, should we head off and play some games?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Till next week, guys, I have been Jason.
And I've been James.
And you have been listening to the Meeple Minded podcast. Join us next week for more tabletop gaming goodness. Ta-ta and goodbye.